Welcome to the Clutch Buckets Podcast. My name is Josh Tyson.
And I'm Kyle Spence.
Their profession, our passion, your court. Check ball. What up, Kyle?
What up, Tyson? How you feeling out there?
Man, feeling great over here, man. I know you. I know
I'm
you
just
next
making
level with
sure you
excitement,
good.
man.
Please excuse my hoodie. It was a little cold in the
We
house, so I
already
had to,
know.
little hoodie on real quick. But that's besides the point. I think we
Yeah,
need to get
yeah.
down to
Let's get it,
brass
man.
tacks, get down to business because the Celtics have won Game 3 in Dallas, 106-99, taking a 3-0 lead
They
against the
took it,
Dallas
man.
Mavericks. And there were a lot happening in this game from
Yes, it
Tatum and
was.
Brown, both scoring 30 points, five rebounds, I believe, also five assists in the game. Even Kyrie Irving and Luka also
They doing
combining
anything?
for a significant portion of the points that were scored. I'm actually going
Mm-hmm.
to add that up in a few. But before I even get to that, Tyson, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you see out there? What did you like? What did you dislike? What was your reaction to the game?
Man, so it was cool. We already knew, man, Mavs were gonna come out swinging, and they did. And Kyrie showed up. With the lack of Boston fans, he finally got his confidence. So he was good, man. They came out swinging with an early 13-point lead, led by Kyrie. But the Celtics, man, that's what I love about the resilience, man. They kept grinding, and by the
Mhm.
end of the first, they were within one.
Yeah.
That really told you where the story was gonna play out from there, man. Because even though the Mavs, that was their push right there, and they couldn't even hold on to the lead. Celtics went up by 21 points, man. They kept grinding out that third quarter. They absolutely took over, but they
They
were
sure
doing all
did.
the right things, man. Moving without the ball, moving the ball, getting into their actions, getting to their spot, and of course attacking the weakest link on defense, which is Luka Doncic. Um, but man, what an epic run that the Mavs had coming back
Mm.
20-2. And let's talk about that, man, for a second, because that was an absolute disaster.
It
Like,
was.
real talk, man, like the Celtics should have lost that. Like, what happened, man? They completely reverted back to the old Celtics with Marcus
Yeah.
Smart, with one-on-one ISO ball. They completely forgot everything that Missoula had told them. Like, and I'm so disappointed in Tatum. Like, man, what are we doing? What are we doing? Consistent step back, shift to the side shots, man. When you could take, let's take the mismatches. What are
Mhm.
we settling for these step back threes for? Like the mishandling of his decision making offensively is one of the most irritating things in basketball right now to me.
Oh yeah,
It's
and I
oh
see
man,
where the frustration is coming from because I saw it too. Now,
oh my
let me
goodness.
first give my initial thoughts to the game. It was an awesome game as far as first, second, third, and right at the end of the fourth.
Yeah,
Everything in between there was absolute nonsense.
yeah,
But we're gonna get to that in just a moment
yeah.
because I want to give a kudos to not only Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown,
Come on with it,
but the
bro.
bench stepped up
Yo, your
and
boy
they stepped
Hauser.
up well.
They
Sam
did.
Hauser had 9 points.
But he from full.
X-Man, Xavier Tillman, who we got from the Memphis Grizzlies earlier this season,
Yeah.
he was crucial on
Clutch
defense. He even
three.
hit a clutch three in the corner,
Hmm.
putting us up 13, I believe, at the time.
Yep.
Like I said early in the podcast that the Jays they went for what 61
61. They did that
themselves,
thing. Yeah.
and then 62 came from Kyrie and Luka on the other side. So when we were talking about what Luka and the Dallas Mavericks can do to make this game more competitive,
Yeah.
we said they need to score. Luka keeps scoring as he's been.
Hmm.
Kyrie needs to step up. And Kyrie did that. Kyrie absolutely did that.
He
And
did his
even
thing.
then, after all of that, with bench production, with Lively getting 11 points, um, and I think he had like 13 rebounds or something
Yeah,
like
he
that.
did, man. He,
Crazy.
he definitely
The
stepped up.
way that the bench was producing, PJ Washington, even, of course, I told you he's going to fall to his average of roughly
Yeah.
13 to
Great.
14 points. He
Always a
had
great
13 in this game.
contribution. Yeah.
They played probably the best basketball they could play, and
and
they
still
still
lost.
lost. So that's
Shout out
a
to y'all.
testament to
Mm-hmm.
how great our team is.
Right.
Al Horford stepping in after KP went down.
Mm-hmm.
We know that he was out this game. Al Horford was huge
He
for us. Even
was.
on the switches, he was not actually getting like blown by every single time.
No, that was a great contest by him on Kyrie, man, towards the end too.
Absolutely.
Mm,
So I thought that it was a team effort for us,
yep.
and our superstars took it all the way. Now, when we get to that third quarter, which we saw where we were able to extend it. I think we were
Mm-hmm.
ending the third quarter at 15-point lead,
Yep.
extending it to 21 in the fourth, and
Yep.
then collapsing
Full
in
blown
such
collapse,
a
man.
major way.
I've
What I
never seen
saw
anything
there,
like it, man.
Tyson, was exactly what you saw. We reverted to what we always did: ISO ball, hero ball, sidestep back, sidestep, three pointers. I'm gonna take this one on one. I'm gonna hold the ball for 15
Bro,
seconds into the shot clock.
bro,
There's literally
yo,
no motion to
yo,
any of the players on the court. They just stand on the wings and just wait to see what happens. No one's
bro.
even crashing for a rebound.
Nobody's even going for the rebound. That's what the Celtics been doing all series, crashing, especially the offensive boards. Dude, it looked like I was watching an LA Fitness pickup game. Like
Yes,
what? There was no movement. It was
absolutely.
1-on-1. Like, yo, what are we doing? Especially in Tatum's hand. Once it got in Tatum's hands, it was a black hole. Like this
Yes.
dude, like you said, took up the shot clock, thinking, okay, we're all on the sideline, the fans, like, okay, all right, somebody's gonna come up and give them a pick, they're gonna run a play. Dude held it for
Mhm.
the shot clock and step back, shift to the side three. What are we doing?
What he
That's not
always
that's
does.
not how y'all went up 21. Why would you
Exactly.
do it now? And
They
that's the
just
problem.
forgot about the
Bro,
drive and kick.
bro, yo, and that's the problem, especially when Tatum starts hitting threes early. This is what he's gonna do towards the end of the game, too. It's like, yo, that's not what we need right now. Let's go back to what we're doing. Or, yo, get it to Brown. Like if I was Brown, I'd be like, no, no, bro, let me get that. Let me get that. Especially after the first step back, I'll be like, no, no, let me
Mhm.
get that, man. After the turnover, it's like, yo, what are we doing? First, y'all started off terrible.
Yes.
Y'all did two straight possessions going through Pritchard.
Pritchard.
What
Why?
what are we doing? Pritchard? Is Pritchard
Why?
the best ISO offensive player on your squad? Why are we going to Pritchard? And then, yo, what ticked me off is Jaylen Brown and Tatum were just standing off watching him, not even trying to go to the ball.
Right.
Like the play was run for him.
Right.
You talking about the same Pritchard, bro, who in this entire series really has only had one shot,
Right.
made one shot.
Yep.
This dude was 0 for 4 this game, had one shot the previous game, and went 0 for 7 the previous. What are we doing, y'all?
I don't know.
What is yo? That was the downfall. From
Yes.
there, after the first two Pritchard shots, then it was a couple Tatum step backs. Tatum lost the rock a couple times. Like Tatum was 1 for 5, man, the fourth. Like, bro,
Yeah.
what? Why? Yo, even after Missoula caught the timeout, they came back and still did the same thing.
Yep.
Thankfully, y'all have another star who
Thank
I
goodness.
believe is the best one on the squad, who's showing himself to be a superstar in Jaylen Brown.
Yes, Jaylen Brown was out there hooping. He had 24 of his 30 points in the second half
Second
of the game.
half,
That's what he was doing. I think he
because
may
he's
have had
clutch,
11
Kyle.
points in the fourth. He is clutch. Again, clutch buckets. You talk
Yes,
about clutch
bro.
players. He was the most clutch on this team,
He's not scared
period.
of the moment, man.
He's not.
Yo, it's like Tatum completely forgot about how to play basketball. This dude
Yes.
completely stiffened up and shut down.
And
His
his
batteries
shot
ran down. I'm
is
like, yo,
just
what?
when he takes these shots, Tyson, we literally, I know you and I probably saying the same thing. That's not going in. Like
That's
we
I,
know it's not
we
going
know
in.
that
It
it
was an
never looks
awesome
like it's going
shot.
in.
It's off one leg. It
Oh
leans
my
to the
goodness.
side, and you're forced into shots that nobody asked you to take. Ill-advised shots at that. When he has such length, power, and strength to go to the basket, he decides to do other things. So when they lost the idea of driving and kicking,
Hmm.
decided to go to this hero ball, it collapsed. But thankfully, we do have players, like you said,
Yes.
Brown, Drew
Yes.
Holiday, Derek White with some defensive possessions to force Kyrie into
Yep.
position. where he was unable to
Force
score.
him to his right
They're
every
down.
time. Or
Yes,
to his left or right?
left
Left,
to his
left.
left.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so, and I think Doris Burke was talking about that as well
Hmm.
during the broadcast. Now, one of the things that happened in this game that hasn't happened that I've seen in a long time, Luka Doncic actually fouled out. He
Yo, I
was
didn't think they were gonna
like
call that.
he was a
I thought
fan
that
of Drake because he was like a six god out there. He had 6 rebounds, he had 6 assists, and then he had 6 fouls. So I was impressed by the consistency that he was putting up
all
out there.
around.
But when he got fouled out, what were your thoughts? Because I've heard and seen some different comments on this from Dallas fans. What
Yeah.
did you see out there, Tyson? Was that warranted?
Yo, first of all, any smart player defensively is not taking that foul. You're not going to try to draw a charge when you
Hmm.
have 5 fouls
Yep.
and you're the most important player on your team.
Right.
It was a horrible decision on his part.
Yeah.
Horrible decision. And anybody who says it's not a foul, bro, shouldn't even be watching basketball because he was clearly moving his feet. His feet were in the air.
Yeah.
He was shifting. It was a clear foul. They went and did the replay. It was a clear foul. His whole
It
left
was.
foot was off the ground. Like,
It
hey,
was.
like,
And that's what I was saying to one of my friends. Like, basically, what I saw was a very bad play from a great player who complains about foul calls all the time.
by the way,
He had 2 to 3 ill-advised fouls in this game. One was a
terrible.
frustration foul on Derek White, where
Yep.
no foul occurred. He just simply missed the bunny,
Yep.
and
That's
then he
it.
just decided to go overly aggressive.
Right.
Then he had a reach-in foul on Pritchard when Pritchard blew by him.
Yep.
Then he had an offensive foul on Jaylen Brown on the baseline
All ridiculous
closer to
fouls,
the
man.
paint. So when he's doing these things, I'm like, it's gonna add up. And Jaylen Brown was smart enough to
Yep.
know, oh, you got 5 fouls. I'm about to go at you.
Right.
Why would you make it a
Why would
bang
you
bang play to say, oh, we're gonna leave it up to the
leave it up to the
refs?
no, bro? No, not at all. And Woj actually spoke on this. He said until Luka
Was that Brian
really
Windhorst?
elevates, what'd you say?
Brian Windhorst?
Yeah, no, Wendy,
Yeah,
Adrian,
Wendy, I think.
Wendy,
Brian
yeah,
Windhorst
yeah.
is one of the commentators. Man, he went in, yo.
He went ham on him because man, it's the narrative I've been talking about the whole time. First of all, his complaints toward the refs. While you're complaining with the rest of your squad is trying to play 4 and 5 on the other side,
Yep. Yep.
and you know the Celtics love pushing the rock.
Absolutely.
So that's where they're getting a lot of the points. And you're allowing your team to suffer on defense because you're still talking to the refs on the other side.
Yep.
Until you mature to a point where you're not consistently talking to the refs, complaining at the refs, and to where you're not being the defensive liability and they're consistently blowing past you, you're not going to reach it to that next level. You
Correct.
can't. And you saw how it affected their team. They needed him in that moment because at that time, the Mavs were only down 3.
Yes, they were.
They needed him to stay in the game. But because of his immaturity, especially in taking a foul like that, but all the earlier fouls, you
Hmm.
have to be smart, especially about first taking fouls, talking to the refs, and talking to the refs. Kyle, he should have got teched up 4 times.
At least.
They
At
let him
least.
go ham on them, by the
They
way.
let him
But
go.
they didn't want to. So, but they were like, all right, bet, yo, go ahead. And he should have fouled out before that. There were other fouls he had committed to where
Yes.
they were trying to let it go. But it was egregious, especially in how he lashed out. He doesn't take accountability, Kyle.
No.
When he took that foul, he looked at the bench and yelled at the bench like it was their fault.
Hmm. You better challenge it.
Bro, taking accountability as a leader, bro, and understanding when to take fouls
Hmm.
and when to yell at the refs, that
Yep.
all goes into a champion, man. And that's why he's not going to be one yet.
Not yet. And I agree, like that level of frustration is not going to work in this league.
Mm-mm.
I've seen, and I'm not going to say that all European players play like this, because when we look at someone like Giannis, Giannis don't complain to a referee about anything. He
Nothing.
just keeps playing. But when I
Keep
see
pushing.
certain players that just simply look to the refs to bail them out of any of the situations that they're in, I have an issue with that because you're not taking full responsibility for the game. You're not being, as what JJ Redick said, an ethical player. You're hunting
Hmm.
for fouls. You're looking for some type of bailout. You're literally trying to draw these types of coverages simply so that you can get somebody else in trouble instead of just trying to play the game. And if you miss
Yeah.
the shot, stop spending time. I saw
What would you
at
do?
least three instances where he stayed on the floor complaining, or he stood back to complain to the
Awful,
referee.
man.
And meanwhile, we're taking threes, we're having dunks, we're doing fast break
Go on hand.
where it's 4-on-5
Go on hand.
because of him. And my goodness, the defensive liability that he has is absolutely absurd.
Yo, and this is why I can't stand the stats that they came off with, especially in the Thunder series when they were, yes, has he improved a little bit as a defensive player? Yeah,
Mhm.
but they were on stats in terms of the playoffs on how he statistically was one of the best defenders out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just want to point out right here, in terms of they were when you are constantly, just like we said in the last podcast, when the other team is constantly revolving their offense to attacking you, you are the problem and you
You're
are
the
not a good
problem.
defensive player.
It's
And
that simple.
this all around, is consistent with the Mavs. Even Kyrie has been a defensive liability this year, this
Yes.
series. But
Yep.
this relates back to, I think, man, a lot of the issues that maybe the Rockets had in the past, especially with like Harden. You have defensive breakdowns all
Mhm.
around. Yes, the offense is there. But what about the defense at the end of the day, man? Defense has to be there, and you all, the Celtics, are dissecting the Mavs, man,
Mhm.
on a level we've never seen, which
Right.
exposes Luka on a whole nother level, knowing he can't win like this.
And one of the things that they were trying to do was go after our players to say, okay, they're the defensive liability, but it didn't work.
It didn't work.
They tried to go at Sam Hauser several times
My
during
boy
that
handled
game.
his business, didn't he?
That was
What?
one of his best defensive
Right,
efforts that I've seen Sam Hauser ever play,
right. He
where
must be
he was
working with
poking
White.
at the ball, moving his feet. Like
Yeah,
he really was like a,
he was
a, a
doing his thing.
mentee to Derek White being the mentor,
Yeah.
because I was so impressed by
So
how this
proud of
guy
that
was
dude, man.
playing.
I thought his ankles were
So
gonna get took several times, man, but
and it
no,
didn't.
he stayed
Like
on
he
his feet.
really was holding his own.
Yeah.
Even Pritchard, when Pritchard was in defensively, he was not a specific liability. Of course,
Mm-mm.
size will, get
Right,
overpowered by
right.
size one or two times.
Yeah.
But when it came, he stayed down on the pump fakes. He was making it difficult for Luke. He was pushing him out. I saw that our bench, and I gotta go back to X-Men. Xavier Tillman was excellent with
Oh
his
yeah,
defense for a
bro.
bench player
Handle his own against Luca.
several
I was
times.
like, come on, my boy. I see you out here, man. My
So
man said I'm gonna
what
come out and make a difference.
facts? And so whatever the Dallas Mavericks thought they could do, they weren't able to do because they
Nope.
thought they had a mismatch. No, no, you didn't have a
We
mismatch.
know who he putting
And
out there.
so
Yeah.
instead, y'all end up having the biggest mismatch all
Hmm.
series long, and where we've capitalized several
Several
instances.
times. Yeah.
Now, Tyson, through this game, the Dallas Mavericks played, I think, 11 players. They had
Man, they
Hardaway
went
out
deep into
there.
their bench, didn't
And we talked about this. We were like, who we
they?
gonna put out there if we were the
Right.
Mavs? I was like, who we gonna put
Right.
Exum? And sure enough, Exum was out there
Eggs him out
dunking
there.
on people.
Right.
Josh Green, they had
Yeah.
Hardaway, they had Hardy for a hot second. I think he got blocked and they just pulled him.
Man, let's
Like
talk
they
about that.
tried everything
And nothing was
except
working.
Markieff Morris. And I was like,
Yes.
why we don't
Like,
not
of all
have him
people.
play?
And by the way,
And
they only gave Hardy 3 minutes. I was like,
dude, after
yo,
he got blocked, it was a wrap. It was
it was
like,
a
you
wrap.
good.
Kyle, your question was answered. Remember, you asked last podcast, why don't they give Hardaway Jr. more minutes?
Yes,
He
we
played
saw why.
19 minutes.
We saw why.
Bro,
He was
with
what, 0
zero
for 5?
points, dog. Over.
He was
Bro,
0
you
for
couldn't even
5.
get
It
to
was
the
bad.
free throw line.
No.
19 minutes, and you are out there solely for
Yes.
offense.
Absolutely, because it certainly
Solely
wasn't
for
for defense
what
at all.
I don't understand. I don't know if Jason Kidd has an issue with Hardy, but he's still not getting minutes. I don't understand it, especially from previous series. The more
Yeah,
minutes you give this guy, the more he goes off.
I
I don't
agree.
know why you would just try and bring Hardy back for the dead, especially when he ain't been doing nothing all series. Like this dude back in think they had a stat where this guy in the 2024 NBA Finals had a total of 0 points for the entire finals, man. 8 minutes the first game, 19 minutes the second game
Mhm.
in the third game. I was like, my goodness, man. That's tough, man, all around right there.
It
That's
is.
his contract gonna be looked at. And then they gave Green a lot more minutes and took away D Jones, Derrick Jones. I mean,
Yeah,
Derrick
he,
Jones
he
only played
was
15 minutes.
he was not effective out there when he was on the court. It
Oh
was like
man,
he was like a I didn't even know he was on the court until like they do a close up at the free throw line of somebody
man,
taking a free throw, and it's like, oh, that's yeah. It's like, was he playing all this time? He
man,
was so ineffective in this game. It was
incredibly ineffective. It's tough, Cal, for all these players. They're used to being open.
yes,
They're used to playing a certain way and being comfortable in spots. The Celtics have pushed them all off their spots and made it
yes.
incredibly uncomfortable to where they're not getting wide open looks.
And that's
So,
kudos and credit to Joe
yes,
Mazzulla.
all day long. And his genius in preparing the team, man. Did you hear the thing about him having them watching MMA and UFC fighters? Like,
No, why?
so so he had them watch these fighters almost getting like choked out to prepare them for times when they're on the cusp of losing or in their most
Mhm.
dire moments and still being able to hold their composure and fight
Okay,
through it. I was like,
okay.
okay, all right, Missoula, I see you out here.
What a strange man he is.
Oh
Am I
man, tell me
right?
about it.
My goodness. But
Yeah,
his strange tactics seemingly have been very effective because
yeah,
of this run that we've been going through where we're basically at this point, if we close it out on Friday, we'd be like 80 and 20 for the season.
man,
80 and 20 for the
that's
season,
sick,
Tyson.
bro. That's sick.
So since we already there, we know that Porzingis was out this game. They said it's a day-to-day situation.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's going to actually play, especially if you're up 3-0. If you lose it
yeah,
on Friday, you come back Monday. Let's see
yeah.
what happens
Let's see what
then.
happens.
But do you think that number one, the Mavs will still go back to the bench again in game four and see what they could find in Hardy,
Mm.
Morris, Hardaway? And secondly, do you think it'll be enough? Do you think that game four, the Dallas Mavericks will actually be able to win a game?
Yo, if they go out and give Hardy at least 15 to 20 minutes, I think it's going to be effective. Still don't know
Okay.
why they ain't, right? Why they ain't, because it's clearly proven the more minutes you give him, the better he's going to do. Man, all around though, but this is the thing though, Kyle, like even Irving had 35 points.
Hmm.
He was still a -3 for the game. How's that work? It's the defense, his
Yes.
defense, Luka's defense. If they don't improve that, it's going to be a wrap. Doesn't matter how much you score. Luka, he was already incredibly ineffective on defense. On
Hmm.
offense, yes, he scored 27 points on 27 attempts.
Yeah, that's true.
27 attempts, man. It's not gonna get it done at the end of the day. So, man, you gotta have other playmakers. That's why I've been rooting for Hardy. I'm like, I mean, if nothing else is working, might as well bring my boy. I mean, they tried Hardaway. I don't know why they went that route instead of Hardy first, but
Hmm.
Hardy Hardaway was incredibly ineffective. And man, at the end of the day, you don't have players on the Mavs outside of Luka and Kyrie who can create their own.
Yeah.
PJ Washington been trying. He been trying to take it to the bucket a little bit more. But who else is going to create their own?
Nobody. It's not Gafford. It's not Lively, even though
Nope.
Lively did play well this game. And he wasn't even in foul trouble because I
Mm,
thought, okay, the only way that we'll be able to kind of eliminate them as threats is to put them in foul trouble. They weren't even
yeah.
able to do that.
Nah.
So I say bring in Hardy. I'm always going to be a fan of his in this series because
Yeah,
he seems to just be a microwave off the bench.
yeah.
But other than that, Tyson, I don't see anything.
No,
I don't see any
that's why y'all been
way
dominant.
that the Celtics should lose game four.
Nah,
I
I know
don't
that's unfortunate for you.
mind.
I know that's unfortunate.
I don't mind if they were to lose game four.
Right, man got
I
plans.
want this to be done in TD Garden on a Monday. But if they continue to play the way that they've been playing,
Yeah,
where they were able to go up 21. If they just kept their focus,
get the
they would have
composure,
blown
man.
them out. So come on, they were down 13 in the first. They walked them down.
Walk them all the way
And by the
down.
end of the first half, they were down by one.
One.
And Stephen A. Smith said it. He's like, look, Jalen Brown hasn't even showed up yet.
Nope, not even.
He
He
had
showed
6 points.
right, showed up at the right time. And this is why, man, it's been hard for a lot of analysts, a lot of people to give Tatum that tag of superstar, of
Yeah,
the star of the team or a superstar just in general. Because in moments like these, man, he shuts down. It's like the lights are too bright for him, man. And this dude's nerves just get bad in the
hmm
moments when the Celtics need him the most. But Brown is showing you the complete opposite of what a true superstar is supposed to be.
right. Being clutch.
Yeah.
And he was just that. So I see this going in 4 games. I think this might be a sweep,
Yeah,
Tyson.
man.
Oh man, I'm excited for it. I could probably work a few things around if necessary to see what I
Plan
could
B.
do.
Plan
But
B.
there might be plan Bs in the work. But I do think that this can very well be a sweep. That's going to happen
Yeah.
on in Dallas on Friday at what time? 7:30 again Central. Let me see. I believe they're going to
Yeah, we
be,
got 7:30. Yep.
yep, 7:30
Yeah, yeah,
on
7:30.
Friday. I think that this might be a closeout. Celtics will finally get banner number 18 put in the rafters. So unless something changes, unless they just play like they did at the beginning of the fourth quarter, we might just see very well a sweep for the
Most
most
definitely.
dominant team in the series. So I'm
Hmm.
excited about it. I think that it's been a good run thus far.
Oh
We'll
yeah. Oh
see
yeah.
what the future holds.
I know it's been a
Um,
roller coaster ride emotionally, but
Oh yeah, hands down. The level of stress that I be going through, I be putting up about 2 to 3 thousand steps in
I
like a quarter, it feels like, but truly in the game, I actually
can't
track
sit
it.
down.
No, no,
Uh,
I'm running around in circles. Like it's
At least you get
ridiculous.
some exercise, bro. Yeah, I've been getting in all them
Ah.
steps.
Oh yeah, I be sleeping
So
good
maybe a
after this is
full-blown
done.
sweat by the end of the game.
Oh, for sure. Like I'm in the game. So,
Uh,
but yeah, it's been good. It's been a good watch, and we're definitely going to keep you posted on how this all plays out. So that'll be it for this episode.
yes,
Until
sir.
next time, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. My name is Kyle Spence,
And I'm Josh Tyson.
and be out.
Till next time,
Peace.
folks. All right.